What is up, Scrub fam? I am back with another deck profile. This one is really cool. And this one is becoming quickly one of my favorite decks to play so far in this new format, in this new game. It plays a lot of sweet cards, has a lot of sweet interactions, and you get to play a leader that no one's playing or talking about right now. And it's one of those leaders that people haven't really tested out to see how it feels in actual gameplay. So I'm excited to go over this deck profile with you. Before we get into that, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Bearded Collectibles. Bearded Collectibles, Alex Pastrana, amazing shop owner. If you haven't picked up your Set 3 product, haven't started pre-ordering your Set 4 product, haven't started pre-ordering your special stuff that's coming out soon, make sure you do so. A lot of product coming down the pipe, so be prepared for it. Also, shout out to Finnick Gaming, new shop that's going to be opening up. They're going to start doing online business as well, and in addition, they keep holding tournaments on a weekly basis. So be sure to check out Finnick Gaming if you're looking to scratch your Dragon Ball Super itch on a weekly basis and playing some online tournaments. And of course, shout out to Shinron's Lair. They're doing a great job with this website that they've built. This is what I've been using for all my deck profiles as of late, and they continue to customize the page to make it more user friendly and content creator friendly. So all my content creators out there, start using Shinron's Lair. They do really great work. So get into the deck. Let's go ahead and jump right into Bardock Leader. So Bardock Leader says, when this card attacks a leader card, draw one card. Awaken. When your life is a 4 or less, you may choose 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode and flip this card over. Once you're flipped, you do the same thing when you attack. You draw a card, and then of course it has the auto where it says whenever one of your Saiyans gets KO'd the first time, you will gain plus 5k for the duration of the turn. So that effect isn't necessarily used in this deck that often, unless your opponent is attacking your battle cards. But otherwise, the leader really picks up off the fact that number 1, it's yellow, and number 2, it can provide card advantage, and the switching to energy to active mode is incredibly relevant and something that people really need to test out more of, because you get the card advantage from the front side of the ability and because of the interactions that this deck provides. So the deck itself ends up providing a lot of tempo just through the leader, which I find incredibly fascinating and engaging. So let's go ahead and dive into the deck itself. So the deck is heavily based around Saiyans, as you can see. So we play 4 Trunks Brit of the Future. This card has been amazing in testing so far. It's usually always going to be a hit in this deck. You're always going to find something off of it, and it kind of just helps fuel you as you move forward. A lot of the times, what's really sweet is whenever you Trunks and then peel a Shugesh off the top of your deck, because Shugesh is kind of just really the enabler that allows this deck to be so successful. We have 3 King Vegeta Surprise Attack, just essentially, not necessarily negate, but just our way of being able to deal with barrier. So if they attack in on us, our battle card gains revenge for the turn and plus 10k. And then we have 4 Caulifla. This is really just our way to awaken. This isn't necessarily for any sort of Kale play. This deck doesn't really play removal at all, really. It really just tries to build a board presence and put the opponent on the back foot, and Caulifla just helps us awaken early within the game. 3 Evil Psyche Zamasu. This is really just focused to be able to tutor with Terror Sight Goku Black when I get to that, but also it does have, the ability to allow me to Union evolve. So basically play this and the Terror Sight, then evolve into Twisted Justice. And what's cool about this card is it has blocker, it has indestructible, it has barrier, and then the only drawback is this card can't be switched to active mode. So what's pretty unique about this card is you put this card down, your opponent swings, you get to block whatever the attack is, and then this card just stays on the field. I really like to pair it with King Vegeta's Surprise Attack because the opponent never really sees that coming. And then so you end up KOing their battle card and you still get to keep your guy on the table. And then next we have 3 Enraged Gohan Awakening. This card, again, we just need to use this to be able to defend ourselves, and a lot of times, since you're going to be able to leave 2 energy up with your leader, this card just really fits really well into this deck and does what you wanted to do. It just acts as your removal. It's just instant speed. They attack, you discard a card, kill the thing. 4 Endless Evolution Broly. If you haven't picked up this promo, pick up this promo now. The prices on this card are going to jump incredibly high in the coming weeks, because people are going to start figuring out how good this is, especially when you combine it with the other yellow cards in the deck, especially when you combine it with Shugesh. Adding more instant speed removal for your deck is always just a huge boon. And the way this works is, of course, when you play this card, your opponent chooses one of their battle cards and KOs it. A lot of times in this format, there's not a lot of decks that are just playing small 1-drops anymore, so you're more often than not going to net something actually pretty juicy. Playing with this last night, if you look back at Pat's stream, which I can put a link to his Twitch channel so you guys can go back and watch the archive, this card did a ton of work in all of our matches. And then, of course, it has a permanent. When evolving this card into a Broly from your hand, the evolve cost is decreased by 2 green. So it's pretty incredible. So, so something like Rampaging Bio, Life-Form Broly, it can come down for 2 energy, and then Rampaging Horror can come down for 3 energy, which is just absolutely disgusting. So, an Endless Evolution Broly is something that you need to be playing in your decks. For Terrasite Goku Black, I'm at the point where I won't build a single green deck without this card. The board presence it gives you, the way that allows you to push for lethal against, Mecha Frieza decks or decks that are trying to put up a ton of blockers. Terrasite is actually absolutely just insane. And again, another great pair with Shigesh. You can flash this into play for free, get those extra bodies to defend yourself, or you can go aggressive with this card. If you guys, I'll refer you to the stream that we had last night, and you'll pretty much just see me playing Terrasite in every deck that I play, and it just did so much work in winning games for me in this deck, as well as, of course, with Vegeta. And then, of course, you can just go search your deck for the Twisted Justice Fused Zamasu, discard a card from your hand, and then you can set yourself to be able to Union Potara the next turn. 3 Bio Brolys and 3 Rampaging Horror Brolys. I don't play the Dawn of the Rampage, the 1-drop at all. I don't feel like it's necessary. 3 and 3 has felt really good in this deck so far. I could see myself trimming a Zamasu to either get a 4th Bio or 4th Rampaging Horror, but as of right now, 3/3 feels really good, and I've been able to cast these regularly to provide additional disruption, helping close out the game, and you can get these bodies out really fast, especially if you can awaken as early as turn 3, which I've done. And then you end up Shigeshing down an Endless Evolution Broly, and then since you just untap 2 energy, you can play a Rampaging Bio Broly, or if you have, the 3 energy open, you can go ahead and put it down a Rampaging Horror that turn. So that ends up being a really sweet play that this deck can generate. 3 Twisted Justice Fused Zamasu. This is just another one of our closers and just more disruption that we can offer. Just being able to, it can K up to 2 battle cards, or your opponent chooses up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand. Or I choose up 2 cards in my opponent's hand and then place those in the drop area. This has Indestructible as well as Double Strike, so this is never going to be leaving the table. When you get into our yellow cards, it's pretty simple. We run 16. We run 4 Planet Vegeta. Planet Vegeta most of the time is just going to be able to tutor something to awaken yourself, so no openings or Caulifla, or it's going to be used to tutor your Shigeshes, or it'll be used to tutor any of your 3 drops that you really want to have at the time. So whether if it's Explosive Spirit or Endless Evolution Broly or Terrasite Goku Black, those are mostly going to be the targets in this deck. For Shigesh, again, he is our Lord and Savior. He is probably the best card in the deck because he enables so many strategies, and he allows you just to be able to do things that just aren't fair. So like I stated before, just Shigeshing down Endless Evolution Broly or Explosive Spirit Son Goku is really all you need to blow a lot of your opponents out of the water, especially if they ever try to overcommit. For Explosive Spirit Son Goku, this is our LeBron James, as I've said a ton of times. This is 100% the LeBron James of the deck itself. And then, of course, because this one comes down to the play, it just KOs the attacking battle card the majority of the time. And we're never really hard casting this in this deck. We're mostly playing it for free. Otherwise, we end up sometimes charging this card. But you can cast it, of course, if the game goes long enough and you get to 2 yellow energy up. 4 no opening Son Goku. This card, of course, combined with your Caulifla, just allows you to have a really fast awakening engine. I really like this with Bardock because you get so much value because you swing at their leader, you draw a card, and then you know openings, and then so you rip a card from your life. So you're just going to essentially replace the no openings, and you drew a card for the turn with your leader, and then your opponent just takes 1. So you're doing a really good job of maintaining card parity with the opponent, and this is the threat that they have to deal with because it's still a 15k body. This is still relevant, so your opponent still has to think about this card. So this is the overall list itself. This deck has been doing really well in testing so far. I do think that having Mecha Frieza in the format does push a deck like this down, but I did play a game against Mecha Frieza last night and I pulled out the victory mostly because of the fact that I was able to untap 2, which just generated so much tempo for me. So what I recommend is just testing out this leader so you can see how powerful the untap 2 is and try out this deck because of that. So ideally the way the turn structure would work out is most of the time you're trying to awaken yourself by turn 3 with no openings and Cauliflas. And so what you end up doing is a play pattern I talked about where you commit. So you'll play a Caulifla, tap 2 green, put yourself down from 5 to 4, you'll awaken, pop those 2 energy back up, so you'll have 3 energy available. Swing leader, you'll Shigesh into an Endless Evolution Broly, and then you'll just play a Broly right on top of it that turn, or you can play another threat that turn. So you can play Caulifla, Awaken Yourself, untap 2, play a Terror Scythe, and then now you have a huge board presence that just explodes. And you can see this again on the stream that I did with Pat last night. You can just see a ton of interactions that this deck has. And this deck just plays a lot of cool cards. It plays a lot of cards from this set. As you can see, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 cards. Yeah, just 12 cards from the first 2 sets of the game actually in this deck. So this deck takes advantage of a lot of the cards from the new set. So if you're looking for something cool to play with, something that is, this deck is actually really competitive. This deck is super sweet. This deck can steal wins off of people. This is a deck that people won't expect or know how to play against. This is something that you could take to your local shop and end up running the table with just because of the way the deck plays. So I highly recommend trying this out. I do think that something like this could end up being tier 1.5 to tier 1, just depending on what ends up happening with Mecha Frieza. But this is definitely a deck that to look out for, and this is a leader that you should look out for and test more with. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Thank you so much for all the feedback you've given me as a late. I hope you guys enjoy this, and again, I look forward to seeing you guys at more events coming up soon. So thank you so much for being a subscriber. Okay, bye!